My name is Alyssa Gaither, and today I will be presenting my strategic analysis of AMC Theaters. So AMC Theaters, also known as American Multi-Cinema, was started all the way back in the year 1920 by the Dubinsky brothers when they bought the Regency Theater, and it was then renamed AMC Theaters when Stanley Durwood took over as CEO in 1961. Since then, the company has been an innovation in the movie theater industry. They were the first movie theater to have more than one screen, which is known as a multiplex. And then they were leaders in innovation again when they were the first theater chain to have the first megaplex, which is a movie theater with more than 16 screens, which is still a very popular form of an AMC theater today. So the company's mission is to provide the best movie-going experience for their guests through constant innovation in every part of the guest experience. And their vision is to expand further globally to bring the same innovation to other countries around the world. So first we'll be talking about my PESTE analysis. So first, looking at political factors, the political stability of the different countries that AMC operates in greatly affect the company. The company went global back in 2012 when it was acquired by the Wanda Group, which is based in Beijing. Also, over the past 13 years, the company has acquired over 6 different theater chains, which has allowed it to expand into existing markets both in the US and globally. So the political stability of these countries matter because if there's any conflict between these countries, then AMC could have some issues operating in those different countries. Also, these countries have different economies. America is capitalist, while countries such as the UK or Beijing are free market share economy. So differences in economies will affect the stability of the company within the companies. On a related note, moving on to the economic factors, the state of the economy greatly affects the likelihood of a consumer to go see a movie because movie theater expenses, they come out of their disposable income. So if consumers don't have a disposable income because the economy is bad, then people aren't going to be going to see movies. Also, a bad economy could affect a studio's ability to produce a movie, and that is a movie theater's #1 product, is movies, and they don't make it themselves, so they rely heavily on the economy because the studios require a healthy economy to be able to produce films. As for social factors, movie theaters are affected by food trends, such as popular diets including veganism, vegetarianism, and gluten-free diets. They also have to take in consideration consumer allergies, like food allergies, when creating their product mix, and be sure to label everything. That's also part of a legal factor. And then another social factor is controversial topics in movies. There are a lot of controversial topics that can be made, films can be made for, including religious films and films promoting the LGBTQ plus community. These different topics are seen differently in different regions based on different demographics. So here in Springfield, where it's more conservative and in the middle of the Bible Belt, religious films do really well, whereas in the more liberal parts of the country or the world, those films are not perceived as well by the community, by the public, so the movie theater could suffer due to that. But they can't discriminate on what films they show, so they really have little to no control over this. And then technological factors include their projectors. When the company originally started, it was obviously on film all the way back then, and now has moved to completely digital. And then technological advancements also affect the value chain of the industry because they make it possible for most elements of the chain to be completed almost completely online which decreases the amount of manual activity, which is cost effective and obviously saves time. This also makes employee resources easily accessible, because everything an employee should ever need, from like payroll to HR, should be online for them. And this is true because I did work for them for 4 years, and everything I needed was online. It was really easy to use. It was a benefit of working there. And then moving on to environmental factors, the biggest one is just climate change. Weather in different regions affects people's likelihood to go see a movie. If it's nice outside, people are they'd rather be outside doing stuff, but if it's bad weather or it's too hot or too cold, then people are gonna wanna go see a movie. So as climate change changes the weather patterns in regions, then their more profitable seasons will change for movie theaters. Then next we're going to move on to our analysis of the task environment. So for rivalry of existing competitors is very high for AMC theaters. This makes their prices, or this affects their prices, because a lot of their competition can have lower prices than them because they're a smaller chain, but they don't get to control these prices because they are on a national scale. Also, they only control their concessions prices. The movie studios are what control their ticket prices, so there's not much they can do to change that. Also, the supplier bargaining is high. As I have previously mentioned, their #1 product is movies, and they don't make the movies, so therefore they rely on their supplier for their biggest and pretty much, main product. The only thing that they can do themselves is the food, and that's the only thing they make the profit off of as well. Consumer bargaining is also high. There are lots of other theater chains that are compared nowhere in size to AMC, but they can create better experiences, and also if a guest should ever have a bad experience at an AMC, there's always going to be a different theater chain close by. Actually working there for several years, the first question out of someone's mouth after I told them if the film was sold out was, well, is this movie theater showing it? Which of course I don't know because they're not connected, but so there's not a lot of brand loyalty for movie theaters. And then threat of substitute, streaming services are becoming very popular because it makes movies and TV shows easily accessible. They're literally in the palm of your hands, and they're almost more affordable than going to the movies because it's a subscription based, so you save money by subscribing. And the threat of new entrants, like I said, is mostly those movie theaters that are smaller in size, but they're creating more unique experiences. A big one is like Alamo Drafthouse, where it's a dine-in style theater, which AMC did pioneer, but it also added the element of having a full draft house and huge, expansive alcohol selection. Then moving on to the strengths and weaknesses of the company. A strength is that they have a highly developed a highly skilled workforce through the development and implementation of successful training programs. But this strength is also a weakness for the company's human resources management because it causes a high attrition rate, which basically means that the company spends too much time and money training its employees, so it takes them a long time to develop them and get them working without the need to be trained, which means you're scheduling more employees because you have to have somebody training them, and some theaters even pay more for training. Another strength of the company is the good return on capital expenditure, which is achieved through the new revenue streams built by the company. And then they also have a strong free cash flow that allows the company to cultivate these new projects. But a weakness lies in their product mix. They have some products missing from their mix. They have a very limited range, and that gives other companies the opportunity to take business away from them. And then as for their information technologies, they have a strength in that The automation of many processes has given them the control of demand conditions in the market. However, they need to focus more of their investments on new technology to keep up with the company's rapid growth. They need to be one step ahead of the technology because they are growing so rapidly. And then moving on to their competencies, they have 4 distinctive core competencies which set them apart, which include constantly working to provide enhanced sight and sound, improving food options at concession stands, maintaining the largest theaters in the industry, and developing easily accessible, easy to navigate technology, which increases online ticket sales and reserved seating. They have a sustainable competitive advantage due to its constant innovation in the movie-going experience. It's nearly impossible for the competition to keep up. The main threat to the company's competitive advantage is the likelihood that streaming apps could make movie theaters obsolete. And then their strategy, their overall strategy is a differentiation competitive strategy that is industry-wide. That means they aim to offer something different that their competitors cannot, and they're willing to spend more to get it. So that includes the largeness of their theaters. No other movie theaters are quite the size of them, and then they also have their own bar and own coffee shop. But along with this, they have also had issues of trying to turn themselves into anything more than a theater. The current business strategy is summarized into 3 key points: enhance, engage, and expand and execute. This is a growth strategy, meaning the company seeks to add new products to the services mix as well as maintain their current competitive advantage. So in conclusion, I would like to recommend that they should try to acquire more of the IMAX theaters. They currently hold about 44 to 46% of the market share. If they could gain more, then they would hold even more of the competitive advantage over their competition, because they would be the key player in that type of movie-going experience, which is very popular. I also suggested that they should try to invest in creating their own movie studio. This would give them an edge over their competition because they would be able to offer exclusive films that no other theater chain could possibly have. And then that way they would still make a profit off of movie tickets, because the way movie theaters work, all of the profits from tickets go to the studios, but if they own the studio, then they get to keep it. Or they could at least acquire other movie studios for a similar process. I also suggested that they could create their own streaming app, so that way even if streaming apps do become more popular and less people come to see movies, AMC can still make a profit. And of course this would require a lot of legal agreements with movie studios, but I believe that AMC should still receive some royalties because they own the streaming software, and the movie studios would still make money because it's still their movies. Lastly, I would highly suggest that they take some sort of initiative to become environmentally friendly. I saw nothing about them trying to, reduce their carbon footprint at all in any of the data I looked at. So not only would this be better for the environment and good for their company, but it would also make the company look better in the public eye, because many consumers are very environmentally conscious. So to reflect on what I learned, I worked for them for almost 4 years, and I never knew that they were such a leader in innovation in the industry, and that they've been around for almost 100 years. So after this research, I feel proud to have worked for the largest and most well-known theater chain in the world. Thank you.